Hello everyone, this is Bringonthechaos Glizzy for another What If. What if Naruto reincarnated and grew up to be a loving father? Before we start, can you like and subscribe for more What If? If you wanted to request a new series and if you wanted this fanfic to have full release, please comment 3 hearts and say your fanfic that you wanted. Without further ado, gentlemen, let's just get started.
Chapter 6. Speech, Thought, Attack Creature. Chapter 6. The 7-page Muda, but it's a fanfic. Uzumaki home. This is the happiest day of my life. Issei wailed in joy, while the boy managed to squirm his way to Naruto's leg and wrap himself around the man. I'm actually touching my hero. Naruto's eyebrow twitched and the blonde looked to Griselda for some help, but the woman simply held her hands into the air and walked to the dining room with a chuckling Asia behind her. This caused Naruto to quickly look to Kurama for aid, but the fox merely scoffed with an amused grin and retreated as well. Traitors. Naruto grumbled in a low and silent voice before glaring down at Issei and attempting to push the boy away from him. And can you give me some space? Backing away from Naruto quickly and kneeling in respect, Issei was still visibly in tears. I'm sorry Lord Naruto, but today will go down as one of the greatest days in my life. Well, until I finally lose my virginity, that is. Naruto closed his eyes and took a deep and long breath. God, this kid is like pervy sage times 10 without any of the charm that made him admirable. Daddy, we are waiting for you too. Coming, Asia. Naruto replied back in an exhausted voice, as he knew tonight was going to be one long dinner. So leading Issei to the family dining room, Naruto took his seat at the head of the table, which was directly across from where Griselda was seated. Meanwhile, to Naruto's left was Issei and to his right was Kurama, the latter of whom had an empty seat by his side, while Asia had her seat right beside Issei. Hey Daddy, is big brother Giorno going to come by for dinner? Naruto shook his head. No, I believe he is spending time with the others around town. Oh, I see, that's unfortunate. Guess Issei will have to meet Giorno another day. Naruto nodded and began to pass food around the table, but he momentarily stopped once he saw the sheepish look on Issei's face, which was a direct result of Kurama giving him one hell of a stare down. Kurama won't bite. Naruto spoke up, which got Issei's attention. Well, not without good reason. Or bad reason. He does have a small history of violence, but I wouldn't be too afraid. Sorry, I'm just a little surprised by the little guy. At that comment Kurama growled, which made Issei yelp. I mean, a fox with red eyes and 9 tails sitting at the kitchen table is a little strange. All foxes in Italy are like this. Naruto deadpanned without an emotion in the world's worst lie ever. Seriously, do they even teach you kids in school? Issei, holding everything Naruto says as the gospel, merely nodded sheepishly and totally bought into the man's poor lie. Yeah, we don't learn much in school. So that's probably why I've never heard of a fox like Kurama, but I know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the liver. Asia sighed. The cell, Issei. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Oh, sorry, I suck at chemistry. The young pervert admitted, which earned another sigh from Asia. However, the girl didn't have it in her to keep correcting the boy. Hey Kit. Naruto glanced to Kurama, who was using their connection to speak telepathically. Yes, Kurama. Have you noticed something off about that pervert yet? He's no normal human. No, I haven't. Naruto admitted before looking to the pervert and taking a serious moment to actually observe and gauge the boy. This quickly making the boss of the passion come to a shocking realization. He has a sacred gear. So you finally noticed, but this boy's scared gear is much different than anything we have seen in this dimension before. If anything, Asia has brought something quite unique home with her. If I were you, I'd try to question the boy and figure him out. Try to see if he is even aware of his power, or even more so see if he's a threat. Naruto nodded and looked to Asia, while at the same time using an old Anbu hand signal that Jiraiya had showed him years ago, which was a form of communication Naruto taught his children and underlings. This of course caused Asia to raise her eyebrow, as unknown to everyone else the father and daughter exchanged a quick conversations. Target. Unknown. Questioning. Follow lead. Asia slowly raised her left arm and gestured back to her father. Affirmative. Follow. Your signal. Captain. Hey Issei. Naruto spoke up finally, while everyone looked to the man. So tell me, is there anything in particular I should know about you? Issei seemed momentarily confused at the man's sudden questioning and didn't really know how to respond. You know, like hobbies, likes and dislikes. Asia quickly chimed in to help get the boy talking. Ah well, I like your books and my dream is to one day to be the harem king. You want to be a harem king? Naruto replied back in a dry and emotionless tone, while at the same time having a slight hint of disbelief behind his eyes. Issei saw this and even noticed Griselda was glaring a hole into his head. Two responses that made the boy quickly hold his hands up in defense. But those aren't my intentions with Asia. I would never consider a friend like her in my perverted fantasies. Oh, so my daughter isn't good enough for you? Naruto asked in a cold and deadly voice, which instantly made Issei shudder. I'll let you know my little princess is the most perfect girl in the world. Yeah, Issei, am I not pretty enough for you? Asia asked in a non-serious and mischievous voice. That's not it at all. Issei quickly yelled in his own defense, which of course made Asia giggle and Kurama sigh in annoyance. I know that, Issei. I'm just messing with you. Asia revealed. Kid, please don't get distracted and get to the point. Naruto nodded and cleared his throat. Well, while your dream is unconventional, that isn't what I was meaning to ask. I'm just curious if you're working with anyone, you know, like a job or an apprenticeship. Issei quickly shook his head. No, I don't do anything like that. Naruto nodded, as he was reading the boy's emotions for any hint of deceit and could tell so far he was telling the truth. While at the same time using questions that could imply a number of things, from having a day job to working for a potential enemy. Are you a part of any group or organization? Maybe an after-school club or something even more organized? Naruto continued on calmly. Besides sometimes helping out my buddy in his photography club, no. Naruto nodded and intertwined his fingers, as he could at least assume the boy wasn't affiliated with any group that was around the area. However, Naruto had to be sure to check every possible angle that he could think of. Tell me, do you have any special abilities or gifts? Naruto asked bluntly, while not getting to the exact point of his true questioning. Considering he knew Issei had a scared gear, but didn't know how much Issei knew. Well, I've never really been good at anything and I don't have any real special gifts. I'm about as average as they come. Issei answered, which made Naruto nod. So you're just a regular high school boy and there is nothing unusual about you? Asia chimed softly, which made Issei nod. That's basically what I'm saying. Griselda, who had been observing the conversation the entire time, was a little confused, as Naruto's sudden interview of the pervert was a little out of the blue. Especially considering how Asia had managed to even join in on the question a little bit towards the end. Naruto, on the other hand, smiled as he finally could say with confidence that Issei was completely ignorant to the world around him and the sacred gear he held. Well, that's good, but our food is getting rather cold. So why don't we stop all this pointless talking and dig in? Naruto purposed with a soft laugh, while everyone merely nodded in response. 1 hour later. Dinner had finished a short while ago and currently Asia was standing alone at her doorstep with Issei, the latter of whom she was exchanging goodbyes with before the boy went home. Man, tonight was awesome, Asia. I still can't believe your dad is Naruto Uzumaki. Issei laughed loudly, as he was still ecstatic about meeting the man. Asia giggled. I can't believe you said your dream was to be a harem king right in the face of both my parents. My daddy grew up around perverts, so that didn't faze him too much, but I thought mom was gonna tear into you. Issei laughed and rubbed the back of his head in embarrassment. In hindsight, that wasn't my best of moments. Well, if you really want to become a harem king, the first could help you. Asia began with a small grin slowly forming on her lips. After all, I bet I could have some fun turning you from a perverted loser to a ladies' man. Really? You would do that for me? Issei asked in a stunned voice, as he didn't even argue the loser comment. Considering Issei knew enough about himself to know that was true. Of course. But why? Asia giggled with a small gleam in her eye. Turning the biggest pervert into an absolute chick magnet now that could cause some serious chaos. And I do love making a little bit of mischief now and then. I am my daddy's daughter after all. Issei turned pale, as he now finally saw a new side of Asia. On the outside, everyone saw a sweet, kind and gentle girl. However, the side of Asia that not many saw was the cunning and sly trickster that she truly was. An individual that Issei was now involved with and could potentially turn on the boy at any moment with a hellfire of pranks and mischief. In fact, just thinking of Asia turning everything around on him made him reconsider her offer. You know what, maybe I'm okay dying a virgin. Asia laughed and spun Issei around. Oh, don't be like that, Issei. Me and you are going to make heads spin at school. He literally. What was that? Issei asked nervously, as Asia spoke the last part in a low and dark voice. Oh, nothing. Asia replied with an innocent laugh, while she slowly pushed the boy off. But me and you will start working on Operation Harem King this weekend. Walking off, Issei nodded with a nervous smile. Alright, Asia, sounds like a plan. Asia watched Issei walk away and merely shook her head. A harem king. Foot, imagine if daddy tried to do something that stupid. That pervert is actually a genius. I've been thinking too small. I could have a mommy harem. But first I have to ensure I get the harem started with Griselda. I have just the prank in mind to get things rolling. With Griselda. Slowly tracing her fingers along the phone in her hands, Griselda began to chew on her cheek and her nerves began to grow. It's just one phone call. The woman tried to tell herself, as she was seated alone on her bed. A phone call with your daughter that you haven't spoken to in weeks. Griselda tightened her hold and closed her eyes, as she tried to summon up the courage to dial the number. Everything will be fine, Zenevia is a smart and good girl. There shouldn't be anything to be afraid of. Griselda mumbled, while she began to dial Zenevia's number, but ultimately stopped and tapped her foot impatiently against the ground. Or maybe I'll call her tomorrow. Tossing her phone against her pillow and groaning in frustration, Griselda began to tug on her hair. I've faced demons and monsters and yet I'm too afraid to call my own daughter. God, I'm the worst parent ever. Flopping backwards onto her bed, Griselda looked up to her ceiling with an empty stare. However, as the woman gazed out in her trance, the phone she discarded only moments ago began to ring, causing the woman to grab the phone and answer the call without even looking. What is it? Griselda asked, her tone slightly annoyed and frustrated. Mom, came the nervous voice of Zenevia from the other end. Jerking upright, Griselda held tightly onto the phone with a surprised face. Zenevia, what a nice surprise. The angel began, but quickly her surprise shifted into her normal assertive and at times frightening personality. That you finally decided to call your mother. Honestly, I raised you better than this. Zenevia yelped on the other side, showing the fearless warrior of heaven was quite in fact afraid of her adoptive mother. I'm sorry, Mom. I've just been really busy with the church. Zenevia replied. Griselda sighed, as she was giving her daughter a hard time despite she herself not making an effort to pick up the phone and reach out. In fact, the woman had just moments ago practically talked herself out of calling Zenevia altogether. That's all right, Zenevia, you're forgiven. There was an audible sigh of relief on the other end. But tell me, how are you? Well, I'm doing fine, but I am a little exhausted. The church is currently a mess and I've been scrambling around all over these past few days. I don't know much about the situation, but I do know that heaven has lost all its major footholds. All this chaos is giving me loads of stress and Irina has been making everything worse. Seriously, she just never knows when to stop. But do you know what's going on? Griselda nodded and took a moment to collect her thoughts. Yes, I'm aware of the full situation and I'm currently working for the group responsible for everything that is transpiring with heaven. What? It's a long story, Zenevia, but it's a story you should hear. Just not over the phone. Griselda began softly, while slowly standing to her feet and moving towards her window. Can you come see me as soon as possible? Well, I have duties with the church. Forget your duties. Griselda cut in sharply. Mom. I could never. Zenevia shouted in surprise. Zenevia, just trust me, okay? I've never once led you astray since the day I took you in. So please come see me, and whatever you do, don't tell people you're coming to see me. Mom, what is going on? You're acting very strange. Are you in danger? No, child, I'm actually better off than I've ever been. I'm currently in Japan with Asia. Wait, why are you with Asia? Zenevia asked loudly. Shouldn't she be with the church? I thought it was strange that I haven't seen her, but I just figured she was lost in all the chaos. You know how she can be sometimes. So you don't know anything. Griselda mumbled softly, while she gazed out her window for a brief moment. Zenevia, the church excommunicated Asia a few days ago and that sparked events you couldn't imagine. What? Asia was excommunicated? Why am I just now hearing about this? Zenevia yelled on the other end. Griselda sighed. I don't know, Zenevia, but I'm going to text you the address of where I am currently living. Please just come see me as soon as possible. Okay Mom, I will make visiting you and Asia my top priority. Xenavia declared softly. But I will want answers when I see you. And you'll get them. Alright Mom, I'll see you soon. Good and Xenavia. Griselda replied before taking a small pause. Yes Mom. I love you. Xenavia smiled on the other end. I love you too. With Asia. Daddy. Asia yelled loudly, while the girl slowly walked through the hallway of her new home. I'm in my office Asia. Naruto called back, which caused the girl to happily skip her way towards her father. Wasn't dinner fun? Asia began loudly, while she came to a stop at the door frame of Naruto's office. Allowing the girl to see her father at his desk, while Kurama was rested on a leather sofa. It was interesting to say the least. Naruto admitted with a slight smirk. Asia nodded and walked into the room. So are you gonna tell me what was with you questioning Issei for? Of course, but first sit down. Because this is going to be a rather long talk. Naruto replied sternly, while he motioned for Asia to take an empty seat before his desk. Asia obeyed and took a seat without question, as she saw how serious her father was acting at the moment. In fact, it was rare for Naruto to show his serious side around Asia. Considering ever since the passing of her mother, Naruto always acted like a cheerful goofball around Asia for the simple reason of distracting the girl and keeping her spirits high. Showing that Naruto was a caring father before anything else. Is something wrong, Daddy? Are you mad that I brought a boy home? Because I don't have romantic intentions with Issei. I just wanted to be his friend. Naruto laughed and shook his head. Asia, that's not the case at all. I don't care who you spend your time with as long as you're happy and safe, but let me explain my reasons for questioning Issei. You see, Kurama informed me that Issei had a sacred gear, and as such I started to try and deduce multiple things about the boy. Like if he worked for any of the factions or even knew about his sacred gear. Kurama chimed in. We were trying to assess if he was a threat or not. Considering we didn't want you being in any possible danger. Naruto nodded. However, from my brief questioning I was able to figure out he was just a simple pervert. A pervert with a very peculiar sacred gear. Asia glanced towards Kurama with a confused look. What do you mean, Kurama? Honestly, I'm not sure. It's not like anything we've seen in this dimension before. It's almost like the sacred gear is alive, or at least has its own soul. It's difficult to describe unless you've felt it for yourself. Me and Naruto tried to come up with a few theories, but we don't have anything solid yet. Asia bit her lip and fumbled with her fingers. So let's say Issei is an ordinary boy with an interesting sacred gear. Would that mean some of the factions may seek him out? That's the logical assumption. Naruto began, but frowned as he felt his daughter's emotions. But you're not asking for any assumptions, you're actually afraid. So tell me, Asia, why are you afraid? Well. Asia drawled out softly, while she rubbed her arm nervously. The reason Issei was with me in the first place was because I found him with some random girl. You should have felt this girl's emotions, Daddy. It was just like the devil you killed back in Italy. So because I was afraid of something happening to him, I stepped in and ended up taking Issei home with me to get him away from that girl. That was incredibly reckless. Why didn't you mention this sooner? I'm sorry. Asia began, while she dropped her head down. I was going to tell you both sooner when the time was right. But you have to understand, I couldn't just stand by and let something bad happen to someone. Especially after knowing what could have happened to me. Naruto folded his arms and frowned. So Issei has a sacred gear that has obviously placed him on someone's radar. Meaning he is not only in danger, but also a danger to be around. His sacred gear may explain why the biblical factions have an interest in this area. Perhaps they know something of his ability that we do not. So we should help Issei. Maybe the passion could do something for him. Asia began, while she looked directly into her father's eyes. Perhaps, but at the moment Issei isn't on my list of priorities. Your safety on the other hand is at the very top of my list. Naruto began, which made Asia's eyes grow wide. So what, you want me to stay away from Issei? Asia asked quickly, which made Naruto hold his hand up to calm the girl down. Now I never said that, and even though it could be an option, I know better than anyone how stubborn you are. So trying to control who you spend your time with would only come to backfire against me. You are my child after all. Naruto explained before he stood to his feet and maneuvered around his desk. Instead, me and Kurama had just finished having a discussion about what to do with you. What to do with me? Kurama nodded. With everything that happened in Italy along with our plans moving forward. Me and your father both agreed it's time we take better precautions with keeping you safe. However, we are not going to do so at the expense of your freedom by giving you restrictions or bodyguards. Naruto chimed in, while he took a seat on his desk and grabbed a small wooden box. You know what, these are correct. Those are your sage pieces. Naruto nodded and pulled one of his sage pieces out of the box. Yes, these were inspired by the devil's evil pieces, but unlike the evil pieces they don't give any special abilities. Instead, each group of pieces are infused with a different type of chakra. The basic pawns only have regular chakra, while the next tier of pieces have some natural energy added with the chakra. It's not a large amount, but enough to help foster the ability for individuals to learn senjutsu. Then the pieces that Giorno and Bruno have are like the ones before them, but have Kurama's chakra mixed into their pieces. However, by far the strongest piece is the king, which has all the power of the other pieces and some chakra from the Sage of Six Paths. Asia was surprised, as she knew from her father's stories just what kind of power that single sage piece could give. That's incredible, Daddy, but are you okay with sharing such power with other people who could misuse it? Well, for one, I'm not sharing my power, as any chakra I or Kurama place into these sage pieces are not gone from our bodies. Considering like a battery, we just recharge our chakra over time. Also, there is a reason I haven't given this king piece to anyone, as me and Kurama both believe it would most likely kill any normal humans we would give it to. Since the heavy amounts of chakra would be too potent for any normal human to handle. Considering the king piece would recode someone's genetics at an accelerated rate that would destroy someone's body at a cellular level. Meaning there isn't many individuals that could take the king piece. With Giorno and yourself being the only two exceptions we can think of, as you're not necessarily normal children thanks to your father's genetics. Which is why if you wish to still be a part of this organization and help me, then you're going to do two simple things. Naruto began, while he held the piece in his hand outward to Asia. First you will take this piece and absorb it into yourself. Then second, you will start shinobi training immediately to learn how to protect yourself and others. But I'm a pacifist. Asia protested, as she absolutely hated fighting and bloodshed. And I'm not going to bury my daughter. Naruto cut back, while his voice was firm and absolute. I've seen enough people I care about die, and I'm drawing a line here, Asia. Either accept my terms or I'm sending you back to Italy. It's for your own good, kid. Asia was surprised, as her father was never this firm with her. However, she understood his reasons and simply nodded. Okay, Daddy, I'll accept your terms. So what piece is that? Why, the king, of course. Naruto revealed, while he handed the shogi piece to his daughter. Nothing less for my baby girl. You know, Daddy, from the reports I've been reading about the devils to inform myself. Asia began, while she looked at the sage piece in her hand. The devils have the leader of their peerage as the king. So why didn't you make yourself the king of your sage pieces? Well, for starters, these pieces are used to morph people's genetics to basically match my own. So I really can't overwrite my own genetics using, well, my own genetics. Also, those who take in my sage pieces are essentially transformed to be my generic children. Meaning you technically have more than one genetic older brother now. Considering all of my top capos have taken a sage piece. Naruto explained, while he flashed Asia a wide grin. Besides, devils take pride in being a king, like it means something. When kings are as numerous as grains of sand, but I am no such thing. In this dimension I'm an existence like no other. Asia absorbed what her father was saying, but her line of sight was completely on the king piece within her hands. Well, if I become the king, does that mean everyone else that has one of the lower pieces become my little peerage? Naruto chuckled with a soft smile. If you would like. Asia got a small gleam in her eyes. And does that mean I get to boss 'em around? Hey, don't you already do that? Well, yes, but now I have an excuse to do so now. Asia replied back with a sly grin. Naruto shook his head and stood to his feet. You have full reign over those poor boys, but after you absorb your piece you should get some sleep. Because tomorrow starts your training and I'm not holding back just because you're my baby girl. Asia lunged forward and hugged her father. I promise to work hard and make you proud. Naruto smiled and slowly brushed Asia's hair. I know you will, Asia. You're an Uzumaki after all. Backing away from her father and smiling wide, Asia slowly held the sage piece close to her chest. Well, here goes nothing. The girl mumbled, while she suddenly pushed the piece into her body, resulting in the king piece melding into her body. Naruto watched with a careful gaze as Asia seemed to slightly shake and chakra began to envelop her torso. Though without even a single warning, Asia fell backwards into the chair she was in only moments ago and continued to tremble. Asia, are you okay? Naruto asked nervously, while he quickly bent over his daughter. Gritting her teeth and looking up, Asia slowly nodded. I think so, but could you go get me a glass of water? I'm on it. Kurama, watch over Asia for me. Asia watched her father dash out of the room, and the moment he was gone the girl stopped trembling and grinned from ear to ear. Then standing to her feet, Asia began to stretch her arms out wide and twist her torso. So Kurama, I say we have 20 seconds before Daddy comes back. 30 if he panics too much and makes a mess. As if on cue, Asia and Kurama heard glass break. Kami, fucking damn it. Naruto yelled loudly, which made Asia giggle. Kurama shook his head, as he looked at the girl who was faking her condition only moments ago. You sly little vixen. What could you possibly want? Do you know how to do that ninja writing stuff that Grandpa Minato and Jiraiya were known for? Fuinjutsu. Asia smiled and nodded her head. Yeah, that. Kurama scoffed and held his head up high with pride. I've been alive for centuries and have been around two very proficient Fuinjutsu users during my time being sealed in Mito Uzumaki and your grandmother Kushina. So yes, I would say I know some. Does Daddy know any? No, the kid never took time to learn any. Why are you curious to learn some? Asia swayed from side to side with a large grin. Maybe, but I just came up with a great prank on Daddy if you're up for it. Will it get under your father's skin? Asia nodded with an innocent smile. Most likely. Kurama flashed a toothy grin. Oh, count me in. That weekend, with Naruto. It was a Saturday morning in the Uzumaki house and the boss of the passion was just now starting to slowly wake up. In fact, as Naruto started to bend upwards, he stretched his arms and allowed his covers to fall off his bare and exposed chest. What time is it? Naruto groaned as he glanced to his nightstand and looked to his clock. 9 in the morning. Well, guess I'll take a shower, make breakfast and get Asia ready for some more training. Rolling out of bed, Naruto was completely naked, as his late wife Aurora had a slight tendency to sleep naked. A trait that after spending years married to the woman was something Naruto picked up. That's why a currently naked Naruto was stalking his way over to his closet to grab some clothing. However, as the man opened his closet, he was met with an empty space void of anything. What the hell? Where are my clothes? Hearing a giggle, Naruto turned to his closed door, as he easily recognized the sound of his daughter. Asia. The father seethed in a low voice, while he ran to his door and peered outside. Then as he scanned the hallway of his house, Naruto saw his daughter standing at the edge of the hallway with her tongue stuck out. Meanwhile, in her hands was a pair of Naruto's clothing. Then without warning, Asia opened the door to their bathroom and disappeared inside. You come here, little missy. Naruto yelled loudly, while he grabbed a potted plant to hide his manhood before running after Asia. Then running to the bathroom, Naruto slung the door open, but was confused. Considering he didn't see Asia, but the shower was running water. Asia. Hee have a fun day, Daddy. Asia giggled from behind her father before she pushed the man from behind and sent him stumbling into the bathroom. Dropping and breaking the potted plant, Naruto looked over his back to see Asia at the bathroom door right beside a smirking Kurama. Asia, you're in so much. Naruto began, but stopped the moment Kurama used one of his tails to slam the door. Then at that moment a large array of seals filled the entire bathroom completely. Fuinjutsu. Are you kidding me? The blonde groaned as he walked to the door and tried to pull it open, but found the room was sealed tight. Pranked by my own daughter and that damned fox. Can my luck get any worse? Unfortunately for Naruto, his question was answered as the shower turned off and the curtain to the bathtub slowly pulled back to reveal Griselda. And Naruto. Griselda. Blushing a deep shade of red, as she saw Naruto in all his naked glory. The woman quickly concealed her eyes and tried to look away. What are you doing in here? Are you trying to make some kind of move on me? Naruto held his hands up nervously and began to look for a towel or anything to cover himself up. Listen, this is a big misunderstanding. Naruto began, as he suddenly discovered there was no towels, no pairs of spare clothing or anything that could cover up the two naked adults. This is all Asia's doing. How did Asia get you naked and in the same room as me while I was showering? Griselda yelled in embarrassment, as she was glad the curtain was at least present to conceal her body from the man. She's sly and takes after me too much. Naruto groaned in annoyance, as he suddenly found a note stuck to the ground. Wait, there is a note. Well, what does it say? Naruto looked down at the note and began to read its contents out loud. Dear silly daddy, I bet you're wondering how I pulled one over you again. Well, it was quite easy, as I know Griselda always takes a shower every day during the same time you wake up to make breakfast, so I knew where to lay my trap. Next, with the help of Kurama, I used clones, genjutsu and fuinjutsu to lure and trap you with Griselda. Hee bet you're regretting showing me all this cool ninja stuff. Sadly, it's too late for regrets. Instead, I have a game in mind, so let's have some fun. You see, Kurama has placed quite the interesting seal on the bathroom that only has two ways of escape, and before you try, no, you cannot force your way out because Kurama sealed your chakra when you were asleep. Isn't fuinjutsu neat? Kurama promised to show me some later. Now here is my game, daddy. You can either sit in that bathroom butt naked all day with Griselda until me and Kurama let you two out. Or you can find the key to break free that Kurama placed in a storage seal within the room. Have fun. Love, your precious little trickster. P.S. Here is a hint because I love you. The key is hidden in only a place Jiraiya and Issei would think of looking. Naruto crumbled the note in annoyance and growled. This is an odd feeling. Pride in someone else's pranks. Naruto began before spiking the note into the ground and yelling. Too bad it's overshadowed by all this rage. You raised an absolute monster. You realize this, right? Griselda asked, while Naruto simply nodded his head and leaned against the bathroom sink. But I can get us out of this situation. Glancing to the woman, Naruto lifted his brow. I don't think you understand the scope of how fucked our situation is. My chakra is sealed, so we are at the mercy of my daughter and Kurama. Unless we find the key she hid, which, knowing Asia, probably doesn't even exist. Griselda rolled her eyes and allowed her angel wings and halo to appear around her body. I'm an angel, Naruto. I think I'm more than capable to escape our predicament. So turn around and cover your eyes while I break the door down. Turning away from Griselda and closing his eyes, Naruto heard the angel step out of the shower. I wouldn't if I were you, Griselda. Fuinjutsu from my dimension is serious stuff. My dad was able to bend space and time with fuinjutsu, and he wasn't even the scariest fuinjutsu user I've heard of. Hell, Kurama's first container Mito Uzumaki sealed him within her body by herself using fuinjutsu. Trying to brute force your way through will only backfire. Pushing out her hand to where her palm was facing the door, Griselda summoned a ball of light within her hand and prepared to blast the door down. Naruto, feeling the woman preparing her attack, slightly opened his eyes to see the angel's exposed naked backside. This of course caused the man to blush and slightly back away further behind Griselda, as he knew things were not going to end well and he didn't want to get caught up in the backlash. In fact, Naruto was right to warn Griselda, as the moment she fired the ball of light she was blasted away from the door and flew straight into Naruto. knocking both individuals down onto the tile floor and entangling their bodies to where Griselda was on top of Naruto with her breasts buried into his face. Okay, maybe I should have listened to you. Griselda groaned in pain, while she pushed herself up to look at Naruto. Noticing the man was completely unconscious with a trickle of blood coming down from his nose. Naruto, are you okay? From the outside of the bathroom, Asia chuckled with a pleased expression and looked down at Kurama. Well, Kurama, my work here is done. So I'm gonna go hang out with Issei. The small girl declared happily, while slowly turning away from the door. Kurama nodded. Just remember to stay in a heavily populated place and keep your eyes open for danger. We still don't know the full scope of what kind of dangers involve that pervert. I know, Kurama, and if anything bad goes down I'll signal for help. Kurama grinned from ear to ear. Good, and in the meantime I'll stay here and enjoy the kid's suffering. I mean, people used to call me a demon, but if anyone is a demon it's you, Asia. I'm so proud. Asia laughed and waved goodbye. Well, just remember to let Daddy out if things get too bad in there. Hee, I'll think about it. Kurama mumbled, while he watched Asia walk away before taking a seat in front of the door. It's high time that brat gets a taste of being caged against your will. And I'll be here to enjoy every second of it. Later with Issei and Asia. Meeting up at a local shopping district, Asia and her new perverted friend were walking slowly among the crowds of people. This was an ample opportunity for Asia to gather some intel about Issei's taste in women along with his ability to communicate with the opposite sex. Considering if Asia wanted to turn Issei into a ladies' man, she had to figure out just how pathetic he was. So that is why the young blonde was constantly pointing to girls for Issei to approach. So what about that group of girls over there? Asia spoke up, while she discreetly gestured towards a group of young high school girls. I don't know, Asia. Issei began nervously, while he slightly retracted back. Asia huffed and crossed her arms. You know, I think you're afraid to actually talk to a girl. You're damn right I am. Girls hate perverts, and no matter what I say, every girl I meet figures out I'm a total perv in like 10 seconds. Well, that's because you spend those first 10 seconds having a staring contest with their breasts. Asia deadpanned before taking a long sigh and slinging her arm around Issei's shoulder. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret about girls. Which is? Issei asked softly. Asia smiled with a devilish grin. Girls don't hate perverts, Issei. Girls hate creepy guys who peep on them in the shower. Girls actually like when guys are perverted. Because believe it or not, girls have sexual desires just like boys and enjoy being the center of someone's sexual focus, no matter how dirty or pure that might be. With that being said, you're the creepy type of pervert. Meanwhile, someone like my daddy is the charming kind of pervert. That's why your sexual life is non-existent and my daddy has someone breathtaking like mom around him. So I need to be more like Lord Naruto. Exactly. Asia began, as she maneuvered her way around Issei and stood right in front of the boy. So I'm going to show you one of my daddy's signature pickup moves he taught my older brother. The shoulder touch. The shoulder touch. Issei mumbled in confusion. Asia nodded with a small grin and rested her hand onto Issei's shoulder. All you gotta do is walk up to a girl, touch her shoulder and give her a cool smile and just say hey. Asia then quickly backed away and motioned for Issei to follow her example. Come on, show me what you got. Charm me, pervy boy. Awkwardly extending his hand out and touching Asia's shoulder, Issei nervously squinted his eyes and flashed a goofy smile. Hey. The boy spoke up, which slightly made Asia cringe. That was a start, but Daddy always said experience was the best teacher. So see those girls over there? Asia asked, while she pointed to a group of girls sitting at a bench. I think they go to our school. So pick a target out of the group and give them the old shoulder touch. I don't know. Oh, don't be scared, you got this. Asia cut in, as she shoved the boy forward. Stumbling forward, Issei looked to the girls nervously and then quickly glanced back to Asia. Noticing his friend had a wide-open grin and 2 thumbs up for encouragement held by her face. This of course caused the boy to pump his fist and walked off towards the girls. He's going to mess this up. Asia mumbled softly as she watched Issei casually stroll up to the girls and awkwardly gave one of them the shoulder touch, resulting in the girl jerking away from Issei and yelling with a deep-rooted hatred at the pervert. Get away, you gross loser. The girl yelled loudly, while Issei began to stumble back nervously. Swing and a miss, Issei. Asia giggled, as she did slightly enjoy seeing the boy fail. However, as a group of boys approached from a distance and suddenly started beating down on Issei, she groaned. Well, either those are some angry boyfriends or some white knights. Regardless, now I gotta do damage control. Sighing to herself, Asia walked forward and approached the group of 4 boys that were circling and pummeling the everlasting shit out of Issei. Meanwhile, the group of girls Issei had approached were merely watching with a pleased expression. Excuse me. Asia spoke up, as she tapped on one of the boys' shoulders. Then as they momentarily halted their beatdown, she smiled and folded her hands together. Could you please stop hurting my friend? Wait, you're friends with this perv? One of the boys asked, while he stomped aggressively onto Issei's chest, making the pervert wheeze in response. Why, yes I am. Asia replied as she extended her hand out in a friendly manner. I'm Asia, by the way, Asia Uzumaki. Hey, I know her. One of the girls shouted out. She's the new girl who tried to cover for the peepers we caught by the girls' shower house. Asia glared at Issei. You still got caught? Yes. Issei cried in response before he was kicked in the face. So you're some kind of sick pervert like this loser? Another one of the boys asked. You even admit to helping your perverted friend spy on our girlfriends. God, you two are scum. I'm a prankster, not a pervert. Asia whined in response. Plus I was helping Issei so he would help me. She's a bitch in my book. One of the girls insulted. You should teach her a lesson too. Stay away from Asia. Issei yelled loudly, but that of course earned him another kick to the face. Shut up. The boy who had stuck Issei ordered, while he simultaneously glared down at Asia. And I think I will teach this chick a lesson. Asia held her hands up in defense. I wouldn't if I were you. The girl tried to warn in a genuinely concerned voice. This won't end well for you if you do. And why is that? One of the boys asked. Well, let's say you actually could hurt me, which you can't, by the way. Asia declared, which made the boys snarl. My big brothers would probably find who you are and torture/kill you. I mean, I've seen some of my brothers hospitalize someone for bumping into them. So hurting their precious baby sister wouldn't work well for you, and heaven have mercy on your soul if my daddy got involved. He burned a guy to death last week because said person made distasteful suggestions about me. Seriously, I don't wanna see you four die over something silly. One of the boys laughed and turned to his friends. This bitch is actually crazy. Making up stories like her family is something to be afraid of. Stupid whore. The boy insulted before twisting his torso and slapping Asia in the face. However, at that moment, two things happened. The first was that even though Asia was struck in the face, she didn't move or even flinch. Second was that the boy's hand bent backwards at his wrist and dangled to where his fingers were touching the backside of his arm. This of course caused the boy to absolutely cry out in pain and recoil backwards. I tried to warn you. Asia yelled in surprise, while she lunged forward towards the boy. Let me fix your hand. Stay away from him. Another boy yelled, while he ran straight at Asia. Unfortunately, Asia was slightly freaking out and had her left arm waving around, which quickly smacked into the boy and planted him into the concert. Oh no! Asia shouted before twisting her torso quickly to the newly injured boy. This of course caused Asia to smack a third boy with her right hand and instantly sent him flying a good couple of feet into the air. I'm sorry. The final boy, stricken with fear, turned around to run, but in the process of fleeing ran into a metal pole by accident and managed to knock himself unconscious, resulting in Asia standing among four incapacitated boys and one slightly beat up Issei. So maybe the king piece was a little too much. Asia thought to herself, while she slightly bent down and tried to discreetly heal each of the boys that had been injured, while noticing the girls Issei tried to hit on had ran away in fear. With Giorno walking around his apartment, Giorno was doing a mental check for everything that he needed to accomplish. Of course, this forced him to scavenge around his apartment and check his personal inventory for any items he might be running low on. However, as Giorno was busy doing that, the cat he had adopted was sitting on the back of his sofa with her eyes glued to the man. I'm out of milk and it looks like we are also out of cat food. Giorno mumbled softly, while he looked to his new companion with a smile. You seem to be quite the little glutton, which is odd considering I don't think I've ever seen you actually eat any of your food. At this rate you'll be quite the fat cat. The cat gave a low annoyed growl, which of course caused the gangster to laugh. I'm only teasing you. The man joked before taking a seat and flicking on his television. But I'll go to the store later tonight. After all the work I've done for the passion, I need some time to rest. The cat slowly stalking her way onto Giorno's lap, the man smiled and began to stroke the creature's backside. Speaking of the passion, I wonder how father is doing. I should probably take some time to check on him. Nah, I'm sure he is busy today. I'll make a point to visit some other day. With Naruto naked and sitting with his back pressed against Griselda's own, Naruto was looking up aimlessly at the ceiling. It has been several hours since Naruto had been caged naked with his angel assistant, but in that time Naruto had tried to think of any way to escape. He had of course formulated a plan to free himself, as he knew his daughter better than anyone. However, this plan of freedom Naruto thought of was a path he refused to take, considering his freedom most likely came at the expense of humiliating himself and, more importantly, Griselda. Unfortunately for Naruto, he was about to learn that time wasn't on his side. Naruto. Griselda began, her voice sounding both nervous and embarrassed. Yes, Griselda, what is it? I have to use the bathroom. Griselda revealed, which of course caused both adults to blush. I see. Naruto mumbled softly, while he slightly shifted himself. I could turn away from the toilet and run some water to make some noise if you're embarrassed about me hearing or seeing you pee. Steam rolling out of her ears, Griselda shook her head. I don't have. The woman stammered before whispering something in a low and embarrassed voice. What was that, Griselda? Naruto asked, while he felt the woman's back shudder. I don't have to pee. The woman replied slightly louder, which instantly made Naruto jump in surprise. Okay, we need to find a way out of here now. Covering her breasts with her arms, Griselda turned to face Naruto. But we have searched all over this room for a way to get out and there is none. Well, not exactly. Since there is still one option left. Naruto began in a slightly defeated voice. Asia said the key to escape is in a place that only two perverts would look. Which is? Naruto sighed. The key to breaking this seal trapping us is most likely hidden inside a storage seal. The storage seal was probably drawn somewhere on your body during the night and hidden well enough to where I would have to frisk you to find it. Meaning? Griselda stuttered, while Naruto simply nodded. My daughter is both evil and a queen of pranks. Naruto then sighed and chuckled to himself. The newer generation surpassing the previous, I think I finally understand the will of fire the old man Hokage always talked about. Unfortunately, it looks like we are trapped here at my daughter's mercy. Well, we don't have to be. Griselda began, which made Naruto's eyes widen. I mean, if it gets us out of this situation, I'm okay with you searching my body. Are you sure? Naruto asked in a surprised voice, while the angel merely nodded her head and uncovered her breasts, allowing the two massive mounds of flesh to slightly bounce and jiggle. I want out of this situation and I trust you won't go too far. Griselda began, while she bit her bottom lip nervously. Just get it over with as quickly as possible. Nodding his head and reaching outward, Naruto grabbed onto Griselda's beasts, which caused the angel to whimper and twitch in response. Then, wasting no time, Naruto began to look for any storage seal that could have been hidden under her breasts. Considering that's the first place a pervert like Issei would look. Unfortunately, as Naruto fondled the angel's massive breasts, he couldn't locate any sign of a storage seal. In fact, all Naruto accomplished to do was make Griselda's face bright red and her lungs short of breath. I can't find anything. Naruto huffed as he released his hold on Griselda and watched the woman's breasts bounce. Asia was probably lying and there is no way out of here. Well, there is still O1P place you haven't checked. Griselda began, while she slowly shifted her body and pointed her backside towards the blonde. Why, you can check H here. Naruto gulped as he watched the angel glance back in his direction. Her breathing was bated and her face was red, while he could practically see the steam coming from her breath. I don't know, Griselda. Just do it already. The angel demanded in a voice that made the man ask himself a single question. Which was Griselda starting to enjoy this entire situation? However, Naruto didn't have time to get his answer. Instead, he simply took a deep breath to steady himself and continued his search. A few hours later, with Asia. It was a few hours after Issei had got his ass kicked and Asia had accidentally roughed up the pervert's attackers. In that time the duo had spent the day hanging out and Issei had showed Asia all of his favorite hangout spots around town, which to Asia's surprise were actually fun and not perverted. However, during the entire time Issei had not stopped talking about how amazing Asia was for what she had done to those 4 boys. That is why currently Issei was going on about how great Asia was, while the duo were walking together deep within the town's secluded park. "Seriously Asia, what can't you do?" Issei asked with a wide grin. "You're a great cook, super nice and like some kind of martial arts master. Plus your dad is Naruto Uzumaki." Asia giggled and shook her head. "I'm far from any kind of master. Besides, none of that would have happened if you didn't peep on those girls in the first place." Issei nodded and lowered his head. "I know, but..." Issei suddenly raised his head and pointed to the sky. "From this day on I will stop being a loser pervert. I will model my life after the great Naruto Uzumaki and become the harem king." Shaking her head and laughing, Asia patted her friend on the back. "Well, you have a lot of work ahead if you want to be even remotely close to my daddy. After all, he is the greatest man I've ever known. Which is why I'll do my very best." Issei replied in a determined voice. "Mark my words, I'll be a better man and friend to you, Asia. Well, if you wish to become a better version of yourself, my daddy is a good example to follow." Issei nodded with a goofy smile, which caused Asia to smile back at her friend. Considering she was happy to hear that boy wanted to be better than what he currently was. Though her mood was quickly swayed as she felt something vile and bloodthirsty. In fact, the amount of killing intent Asia could feel was enough to make her shudder and her eyes darken. Issei, watching the fear flash across the girl's face, instantly determined something was wrong. "Asia, what's gotten into you?" the boy asked, while he noticed the blonde slightly zone out. Her top lip curling against her teeth, Asia tightened her fists and dug her nails deep into her hands in order to regain some composure. "We are not alone," the girl whispered in a low and nervous voice. "Huh? What are you talking about?" Issei yelled loudly, while the brunette quickly swiveled his head from left to right. "There isn't anyone around this park as far as the eye can see." Issei was both right and wrong in his observation, as nothing was around the duo except for trees, bushes and empty pathways. However, Issei wasn't like Asia. Considering Issei was using his single sense of sight to survey their surroundings, while Asia had something much more reliable to pinpoint the individual, or rather individuals, who were stalking them. This of course made the girl question why they were being followed. Were they after Issei? Or were they after her? Maybe both, or perhaps there was another reason even Asia couldn't imagine. Regardless, Asia knew that unlike the situation with the 4 boys earlier, this encounter was going to be much more serious. "Why, you can come out. I know both of you are watching us," Asia shouted to the surprise of Issei, while at the same time clicking her teeth at her stutter. Hoping whoever was watching didn't pick up on her nervousness or fear. Almost instantly, a young man with long white hair dressed in familiar robes came stalking out of the tree line. His twisted grin and sadistic glare were enough to place Asia on guard, while Issei tensed up. Well, well, well. What do we have here? A fellow excommunicated member of the church all the way out here. The man began, his voice sounding both excited and insane. This is a total coincidence, but I think you know better than to believe that. I recognize those types of robes and even the weapons you're trying to conceal. Asia called back, as she tried to hold her composure. You're an exorcist of the church. Now what is an excommunicated member of the church doing in Japan following me? Laughing loudly and gripping his face to calm his insanity, the man merely grinned at Asia. Why, I'm here to help collect that little sacred gear of yours. After all, even I know of the great healer Asia Argento. Argento. Issei mumbled in confusion, as he had a million questions about what this man was talking about. Though he also knew right now wasn't the right time to get his answers. So you're after me? Asia began softly, while she glanced to the side. And what about your comrade? What are they after? After all, I recognize you from a few days ago, Yuma. Issei's eyes grew wide as he watched Yuma casually walk out into the open with a smirk on her face. Asia, on the other hand, shuddered, since currently the young girl could feel even more negative emotions radiating off Yuma than their first encounter. In fact, Yuma's emotions were so putrid that they made Asia sick and completely overshadowed those of the man she was with. For starters, girl, my name isn't Yuma. It's Reinare. And you're an annoying little pest, but after what I plan to do with you and your little pervert, all your sins will be forgiven. After all, I was just trying to get close enough to steal that loser's sacred gear, but imagine my fury when you came marching in and interrupted my plans. However, thanks to Freed, I learned you have quite the remarkable sacred gear yourself. Twilight healing. A wonderful sacred gear that shouldn't be in the hands of some snot-nosed brat. Freed yelled loudly, while he pulled out a sword. No, that kind of ability belongs to someone like Reinare. Issei gritted his teeth and pointed his fist at Freed. Oh, and what makes her so special? I don't know what the hell light healing, sacred healing, or whatever it is called means. But I know that nobody is better than Asia. It's because she isn't human, Issei. Asia mumbled softly, as she knew that she needed to call for help soon. Considering she was now in a situation she couldn't get herself out of. What? Not human? Issei yelled in response. That's right. Reinare began softly, as her eyes and hair began to darken in color, while giant black feathered wings propelled outwards from her backside. I'm a fallen angel. Chewing on her cheek and frowning, Asia pulled on Issei's sleeve. Listen, Issei, I want you to run. I want you to run and not look back. Stunned, surprised and confused, Issei locked eyes with Asia. I'm not going to leave you behind. You run and I'll hold them off for as long as I can. You'll die, Issei. And I'll die a virgin if it means you'll be safe. Moved by Issei's resolve to keep her safe regardless of how useless it was, Asia had her focus on Issei and not the former exorcist or fallen angel. This was unfortunate for Asia, considering Reinare had lifted up her hand and summoned a spear of light. Issei, on the other hand, saw these events transpiring, and the moment the fallen angel began to move her arm, the pervert moved forward and shoved Asia onto the ground, resulting in Issei standing over top of Asia, while a spear of light was buried into his stomach and protruding out from his spinal cord. Issei! Asia shrieked in terror, while the boy coughed blood from his mouth before collapsing backwards. Tilting her head back in disbelief and roaring in laughter, Reinare pointed a finger at the bleeding Issei. What an idiot! I was just trying to immobilize you before you could run. Meanwhile, that idiot tries to be a hero and changes a non-lethal attack into a killing blow. Kneeling down over Issei and hearing the condescending laughter of Reinare and Freed, Asia held her hands out and began to desperately use her twilight healing on the dying boy. realizing that Rainer's attack had completely eviscerated the boy's internal organs. Hang in there, Issei. Asia begged as she tried her absolute hardest to heal the boy. Rainare watched this and smiled before summoning another spear of light. So let's see how useful the twilight healing of yours is. Rainare began as she threw another spear directly into Issei, which stabbed the boy in the chest. Issei! Asia shouted, while she moved one of her hands up towards his new wound. This is great! Rainare yelled loudly as she summoned a third spear of light. Let's see what happens first. You heal that boy or I kill him. Asia's eyes grew wide and at this point she was starting to panic. So fully moving her body to shield Issei from Rainare, she continued to heal Issei, but at the same time she began to pump out and spike her chakra. Hoping someone in the passion would feel her chakra and come rushing to her side. Considering her current abilities and limitations, all she could do was try to keep Issei from dying and hope someone will appear soon to save them. Dad, Giorno, Kurama. Anybody. Please come help me. Asia thought, as her emotions began to rise and her eyes began to burn. However, as an intense hot and sharp pain filled her left shoulder. Asia saw Rainer's spear poking out from her body and into Issei's. You think I won't attack you as well? Rainare taunted with a loud laugh. Hell, this is a perfect chance to test the scope of my new sacred gear. So show me how much you can heal before you and that boy die. Asia gritted her teeth as she felt another spear brush past her side, giving her a decent gash in the process. This of course caused the girl to whimper in pain, but held her resolve to heal Issei. As her body was in pain, her emotions were a mess and her eyes felt like they were on fire. However, she was healthy enough to continue and knew if she stopped trying to heal Issei for a moment the boy would die. So that is why she had to ignore her own injuries and focus completely on saving the boy's life. Don't give up, Issei. Asia cried in pain, while a spear flew past her cheek and sliced her once more. Hang in there. Issei, barely holding on to any semblance of consciousness, looked up to Asia. His hazy vision locking eyes with Asia with a bloody smile. So this is the last thing I see before I die. It's not boobs, but I'm okay with that. Though I never knew Asia had such beautiful crimson eyes. If only I stopped looking at every rack I saw I would have noticed. Hey, guess I really am a shitty guy that got what he deserved. Couldn't even protect the one decent friend I have. Still pumping out her chakra, Asia was hoping, no praying that anyone would come to her aid, but by now her father should have at least arrived. However, considering her prank this morning, that meant Naruto was most likely still trapped. Meaning she couldn't rely on the man like she always had. Then to make matters worse, Asia could visibly see that Issei had too many serious injuries for her to keep up with. This has been fun, but that boy is on his last leg and I'm bored. So I'm going to finish this up and then go extract your scared gear, which will kill you as well. With that being said, Rainare conjured one final spear of light and grinned. So just let the boy die and accept you both are not long for this world. Ignoring Rainare completely, Asia continued to heal Issei and refused to let the boy die. An action that made the fallen angel sigh before tossing her final spear forward. Considering she just needed Asia barely clinging to life. So she didn't mind striking the killing blow through Asia. However, to Rainer's shock, the spear stopped mere inches from touching Asia's back. This of course caused the fallen angel to glare at the man who had stopped her attack. A man with blonde hair that brought the spear up close to his face before shattering it within his grasp. "Just who are you?" Reinare yelled in rage, while she glared at the man who appeared practically from thin air. "Just a very protective and very pissed off older brother." The familiar voice replied without emotion, which of course caused Asia to glance backwards and practically choke on her tears. "Giorno." The girl cried in relief, while at the same time finding his hand softly ruffling her hair. "I'm sorry I took so long. I'm not as fast as father is after all, but I'll take care of everything from here just as he would." Reinare glared at the man and turned to Freed with anger in her eyes. "Freed, take care of this." The fallen angel began, but froze as she saw the former exorcist face down. His head planted deep into the ground, while a few plastic shopping bags were neatly laid beside him. What? Yeah, I already took care of him," Giorno began, while he slowly stalked forward. A large amount of killing intent already leaking from his body. "Now you're next." Laughing and holding out her hands, Reinare shook her head. "You really want to fight me, human?" Appearing right in Reinare's face much to her surprise, Giorno kept a calm and fierce composure. "This won't be a fight, you piece of shit." Lifting up a fist and snarling at Giorno, Reinare opened her mouth to speak. However, instead the fallen angel took a strong right hook to the face. A blow which not only disoriented the woman, but also dislocated her jaw or cracked her teeth. "Muda!" Giorno yelled before delivering a quick barrage of fast and strong punches to Reinare's chest, resulting in a final blow that sent the fallen angel propelling backwards straight into a shadow clone of Giorno. "Muda, muda, muda!" The shadow clone roared as he unleashed a secondary barrage of punches and kicks, which used enough force to snap Reinare's ribcage and even broke her wings. "Muda!" With that final shout, Giorno's clone tossed Reinare forward like a rag doll, where the original Giorno was waiting with two Razingans in each hand. Then, in the most unconventional use of a Rasengan ever, Giorno began to use the balls of spinning chakra as blunt objects to beat Reinare down with. "Muda!" Giorno yelled, while he kicked Reinare in the stomach and sent the fallen angel flipping up into the sky, where two more shadow clones were already waiting for her. "Muda, muda, muda!" The two clones shouted in unison, while they both relentlessly beat down on the fallen angel who had hurt Asia. This of course caused Reinare to experience more broken bones and practically incapacitated her from moving or fighting back. "Muda!" With one final blow to the face, Reinare went sailing downward back to the original Giorno, who caught her mid-fall by using her torso as a punching bag for another barrage of punches. "Why?" Giorno yelled as he kept Reinare bouncing upwards from his punches, while her internal organs began to turn to paste and her eyes began to roll back. Then, allowing the fallen angel to fall towards the ground, he continued a horizontal assault of punches that pushed the nearly dead woman forward. "Muda, muda!" Finally summoning a veil of red chakra around his torso, Giorno manifested two large hands of pure chakra and started to pummel Reinare into the dirt. "Muda, muda, muda!" Giorno screamed, while he created more and more arms of chakra to beat down on Reinare for another solid 2 minutes without mercy, ending in the man stepping away from a hardly recognizable and dead corpse of a fallen angel. "Giorno, I need your help. My friend is dying," Asia cried in despair. not even wasting a second glance on the fallen angel he had killed. Giorno ran over to Issei and hunched over beside his sister, while his sacred gear burst to life. "Let me help you heal him. My scared gear can repair his organs and you can focus on keeping him alive," Giorno explained, as he kept his eyes down on Issei's bleeding body. "I have a million questions, but they can wait once we stabilize your friend." Issei nodded. "We need to heal Issei enough to move him. Then we can go home and I'll tell you and Daddy everything." Giorno could accept those terms and glanced up to his sister, but once he did, he was completely shocked to his core. "Issei, your eyes. What about them?" Issei asked in concern, as the burning sensation from earlier had died down. With disbelief, Giorno shook his head and blinked, thinking he was seeing things. However, he quickly realized what he was seeing was real and it left the man completely dumbfounded. "Issei, you have the Sharingan. I have the what?" Later at the Uzumaki household. Seated in a chair in front of her father's desk, Issei was looking directly at her father, who had Kurama on his left side and Griselda on his right. She had just finished retelling the story of her day, which ended with her and Giorno saving Issei and discovering she had somehow managed to unlock the Sharingan. Speaking of Issei, the pervert was actually unconscious and laid out on a sofa within Naruto's office. Considering Issei and Giorno both agreed it would be the best move to keep him safe. And that's everything that happened. Issei finally finished, while everyone digested the information she gave him. "So you have the Sharingan. Very interesting. I personally hate those damned eyes, but I like you," Kurama began, as he was the first one to speak up. "I'm curious if it's a byproduct of your king piece, Naruto's genetics, or Sasuke giving his power to Naruto and having an effect on your birth. Regardless, you clearly have the Sharingan in some fashion and I'm curious to find out why. That's the first thing you say," Naruto yelled, while he glared at the talking fox. "A fallen angel targeted my daughter and you wanna know how she got the Sharingan?" Kurama scoffed. "We know why she was a target. That idiot wanted her scared gear and didn't know she targeted the wrong girl and died for it. And what if more fallen angels come for Issei?" Naruto yelled loudly. "That's why we're training her. So she can actually fight back. So it would be beneficial to learn more about her abilities and potential." Naruto nodded and took a deep sigh. "Yes, but now we have to determine what to do about the fallen angels. Considering they attacked and injured my daughter, which is something I won't stand for. Well, for now we can't do anything, as there is no fallen angels to talk with." Griselda began with a small amount of anger in her voice. "But can we please talk about Issei's punishment?" "Punishment? I didn't do anything wrong," the girl protested. "You locked me and your father naked in the bathroom all day. And to make matters worse, there was no way out and we couldn't help you when you needed us," Griselda yelled back, while a large blush covering her face as she remembered her time trapped with Naruto, which got a little too heated. "But I did leave a way for you to escape. There was a key to break the seal hidden under the sink. But you said the key was in a place only a pervert would look," Naruto yelled in disbelief. Giggling and shooting finger guns at her father, Issei smiled. "That's called misdirection, Daddy." Shaking his head and laughing, Naruto slapped the desk. "Oh man, you really got us good, Issei. Don't encourage her behavior," Griselda scolded sternly. She needs punished or she will continue this behavior. Naruto nodded and sighed, but the man was suddenly met with a sad and completely fake look of regret from his daughter. One that completely shattered any chance of Naruto punishing Asia. "Daddy, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to give you a small prank to make you laugh." The manipulative daughter began with fake tears in her eyes. "If it was so bad, I won't do pranks anymore." Jumping up and over the desk, Naruto hugged Asia tightly. "No, it's okay, sweetie. You can prank silly old daddy as much as you want." "You really mean it?" Asia asked, her voice sounding sad. However, the devious look she gave Griselda and Kurama said otherwise. In fact, Griselda's eyebrow twitched and Kurama merely gave the girl a proud grin. "Yes, my precious baby can have whatever she wants," Naruto declared loudly. Asia nodded and backed away from her father. "Well, in that case, I do have something I want right now." Leaning against his desk, Naruto nodded. "Name it and it's yours." "I want Issei as a member of my peerage and your blessing to allow him into the passion." Folding his arms and closing his eyes, Naruto sighed. "He did risk himself to protect you. So if he wishes to join, I shall make an exception for him to join." The leader of the passion began, while he glanced to Griselda. "Could you wake the boy for me?" Approaching the sleeping form of Issei, Griselda quickly held her hand out and smacked the boy across the face. This was a poor choice, as the boy simply moaned and turned on his side. "Harder, Rias," Issei mumbled through some perverted sleep talk. Griselda's eye twitched and she turned to Naruto. "Can't I just kill him and we be done?" Naruto groaned and pointed his finger at Issei, which caused a bolt of lightning to zap the boy awake and send him screaming into the air. "Damn it!" the pervert yelled, but froze as he noticed his current surroundings. "Asia, you're okay. And Lord Naruto is here. What happened?" Naruto simply held his hand up to silence Issei and sighed. "Honestly, there is way too much to explain right away. For now, you should know this. You were attacked by a fallen angel, and yes, angels, devils and much more are all real. You were attacked because you and Asia both have very rare items within your bodies. My son Giorno arrived and killed the fallen angel, and Asia saved you from dying. She tells me you risked yourself to protect her, and for that I'm grateful. For that you've earned my favor, and I'm offering you to join my organization, The Passion, which is a worldwide organization with the goal of creating peace. Asia herself wants you to become a member of her peerage by absorbing an item that will change your genetics and make you a human with incredible abilities. That will also essentially make you my biological child, along with other side effects. Asia can explain everything and fill in all the blanks if you agree. Considering as an old friend of mine used to say, it's too troublesome for me to do it. So with all of that being said, will you accept my offer? Wait, let me get this right. Issei began, as for a brief moment he showed a small form of seriousness, but that was about to be thrown away. If I say yes, can I call you Dad? Yes, no. Asia and Naruto answered together. Then sign me up, Issei declared happily, which caused Asia to beam with joy. And my peerage is growing, Asia chirped in a giddy voice. I can't wait for you to meet everyone else. Issei grinned and placed his hands on his hips. I don't know much about what's going on, but I'm on board. And you said the fallen angel was killed, but what about that other guy? What happened to him, Dad? At this question Naruto held his head down, as he was thinking he should just let Griselda kill Issei. Well, I'm having my people talk with him. Abandoned warehouse. Freed was nervous, as he was currently surrounded by 4 men he had never seen before. These men of course being Mista, Fugo, Narancia and Abikio. All of whom were relatively silent around the man. However, the silence was interrupted by the arrival of Giorno and Bruno. The latter of whom was holding a small tray with 2 cups and a bottle. What is going on? Freed shouted loudly, while he watched Giorno pour 2 glasses of some kind of alcohol. I simply want to have a quick drink with you. Giorno explained before he walked over to Freed and handed the drink to the man. A drink? The former exorcist asked. Giorno nodded and held his drink up. Yes, but in my country we toast. So to your health. The gangster spoke before taking a drink. Freed, realizing it wasn't poison if Giorno was drinking, shrugged his shoulders and brought the cup to his lips. Then as he felt the hot liquid slowly go down and burn his throat, he finished the entire cup in one go. Not bad stuff, a little rough on the throat though. Freed spoke up, which caused Giorno to nod. I see. Giorno mumbled, before punching Freed so hard in the stomach the man collapsed onto his knees and threw up all over the floor. The alcohol from moments ago coming up to burn his throat a second time. How was it coming back up? Hacking and wheezing from Giorno's insane strength, Freed glanced over his back and watched as the man rolled his sleeves. Him not going to speak? Well, let me speak for you then. See, my associate here Abikio has a very useful sacred gear. See, he can play back and watch anyone as long as he is standing where that person was. So that means we can get information from you without well needing you at all. Despite that you were involved with the person who hurt and planned to kill my baby sister. I think you understand where I am going with this. Giorno began, while at the same time pointing at Narancia. Don't want anyone hearing your screams. The young gangster spoke up, while turning on a loud song through a boom box. You're gonna kill me? Freed asked, as he slowly started to regain himself. No, we are just gonna talk for a little bit. Giorno replied softly, while he and his fellow passion circled the man. But it's gonna be one painful fucking talk. Chapter end.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like this video if you want some more what if video. Comment 3 hearts for more what if.